This is Another Gay Horror Pod with Stuart Ross and Jesse Tevitt.
Why did I think you two were a couple? Are you not a couple?
No.
No, it's because we both have beards. I think
I don't know. I just
like
maybe
physical.
I got that wrong.
Did we didn't meet in person at that screening I saw your movie at. I DM'd you after.
I can't remember, but I think
because my husband was with me at that.
Okay.
And so maybe it's a conflation of like who's who, what's what.
All the things. Obviously, you're catching me when I'm very scattered today.
That's fine. Just for
You're
clarity,
on with us
I don't have a husband.
On a Sunday morning.
Just for clarity, I'm single. I feel
As
like
am I.
You know that woman in the scene in Bridesmaids, she's like, "And you don't have a husband." I'm perennially single.
That is also the converse. Is whenever I say my husband, I feel casually like I'm bragging, and I'm like, I shouldn't say that. I'm like, well, no, I just like randomly met a good person like 7 years ago. It's not my fault.
It's just facts. You have a husband.
It's not my fault.
But also, Jesse doesn't have a husband.
You feel
like
guilty
my
bringing
husband.
Yes. Every time
as I'm actively not wearing my wedding ring, because I almost always only wear it when I leave the house because it's not comfortable.
Fair.
Hi Amir, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, we're so happy to have you joining us. For everyone who may not know, introduce yourself to us and to them.
Sure. My name is Amir Moini. I am a horror movie director or horror film and television director at this point. Yeah.
So excited to have you. We've previously talked about your short film on our podcast.
Yes.
Because I happened to see Slashr at a screening the night before we recorded when our Stranger Calls episode.
Oh, okay.
And so
nice.
I like texted Jesse and I was with the YouTube link and I was like, watch this. We're going to talk about this during the episode tomorrow because it's so
good.
It's like this awesome short, tight little short of like,
thank you.
Very similar to When a Stranger Calls.
Actually, yes, that is one of the films that inspired it. So I'm glad that you referenced that for sure.
And it was just, I was like, wow, it's incredible that the night before we're going to talk about it, I happened to just be at a screening of Slashr. So do you want to tell people about Slashr?
Sure. Well, we made this film about 2 years ago at this point, so it's had quite a ride, but it is my first short film. I worked at Netflix for about 7 years, and I was directing a lot of their social media content. So I did a lot in the unscripted space. Some of them were, interviews with cast. Others were kind of documentary short subjects on some of our executives. And I wanted to branch out and try something narrative because that was always the goal, I think, to branch into directing. So this was my first short film. We premiered at Screamfest in 2023. We opened for the movie The Puppet Man, which is on Shudder.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's had this beautiful journey of festivals and won some awards. It eventually got acquired by Shudder for a period of time as part of their Access Horror Collection. And it has a special place in my heart because it was the first one, and I think I would grade it honestly like a B-. Like I think it's okay. I would do so many things differently in hindsight, and I think I've learned a lot since then. But I'm proud of it. I think, it was my first kind of entry point, if you will. So also, this is my cat. He's going to be very present throughout all of it. But
what's his name?
Vin Diesel. But yeah.
Thank God.
Do you just call him Vin or Diesel?
I call him Vinny.
Mr. Diesel. Oh my God, he's so
It was his given name from a shelter, so we just decided to keep it.
No, you were right to do that.
Yes, no, you kind of can't go wrong with Vin
I feel like
Diesel.
We're such a pro cat. Our last few guests have had cats. And they've like visited while we're recording, so I feel like we're very much a pro cat podcast.
Yeah.
Even though neither of us have cats.
Neither of us have cats.
No.
I love cats. I mean, he's so cuddly and just like the sweetest boy. So
yeah, maybe one day I'll get a cat.
But yeah, so
Before I get a
Slashr.
husband. Sorry.
Hey, we're on the same trajectory there. So,
Back to Slasher.
it was a really good experience, and I think we were very, very mindful of building an inclusive cast and crew, and I think creating a very welcoming set was super important to me and something that I've continued on with future projects. So I still keep in touch regularly with a lot of the folks that were involved in it, and yeah, it's kind of I think I'm at the point where I'm ready to kind of close the door on that film, and we're starting to work on some new projects. And but yeah, it was a beautiful 2 years, and I think I can like wrap a bow on it and call it a day at this point.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting that you say that, because I was going to ask a follow-up of like if you would ever consider making a sequel, or like if you've been approached to expand the world or anything like that.
I mean, I know I'm kind of self-aware that the ending is a little unsatisfactory. We created almost like an opening kill scene to a feature, if you will. And I really just wanted to create, like, I consider a short film almost like a business card. And like, in order to launch my directing career, and I get all these meetings, like I have a lot of keys to doors, but I think like in order to get in, you really need to show like what you're capable of. So the first thing out of people's mouths is always like, let me see your work, you know? So I have Slashr as that business card in a way to secure people's confidence in my ability to execute on a project. But it was also just like super fun to explore and learn. I never went to film school, so I feel like that was my film school in a lot of ways. You know, I would read so many books leading up to it, or talk to like 10 people in each profession trying to learn about it more. And so, but in terms of a sequel, we are working on a feature version, but it is a very different world plot. I would say it's, instead of like slow and eerie and building suspense, it's very fast, edgy, sexy, 90s nostalgic. More of an ensemble cast with a lot of red herrings. Very like,
I love that.
Cherry Falls, Valentine, House of Wax, like that kind of vibe.
God.
So
you're just listing great movies.
I love Cherry Falls.
It's so chaotic.
I mean, it's problematic in some ways, obviously. But I do think it's just the log line is kind of genius, I think. Like it's a good one.
It's kind of unlike any horror movie, at least I've ever seen. And also, like, say what you will, but if there's one thing Cherry Falls is, it's very watchable.
Totally.
It's so like, what? Bonkers.
And R.I.P. Brittany Murphy.
R.I.P.
I love her.
She's so good in that movie.
Well, and that was the thing with Brittany Murphy, not to completely go off and talk about Cherry Falls again, but she was so watchable that you can like intellectually be like, this might not be the best movie, but she herself draws you in so much.
Totally.
Like I've seen so many bad movies with Brittany Murphy where I was like, is it a bad movie? You have to like be like, oh no, intellectually this is a bad movie, but Brittany Murphy is great in everything.
Totally agree.
Gone too soon.
But yeah, so on the feature, we've been in development for about 2 years now, and I mean, honestly, since we wrapped Slashr, we've been working on it. So it's fully written. We're casting and financing right now, and we'll kind of see where it goes. So
congratulations, that's so exciting.
Thank you.
I worked on a. Are you getting like full financing or doing like ultra low budget or something?
We're not doing ultra low. I would say it's probably around like the 1 million tag, like give or take. So
okay, all right.
I did an ultra low budget movie this summer, and it was a great experience. But it was like a month of just like,
You know, honestly, like I'll be super candid in that, like I'm like almost afraid to do ultra low budget. Like I think once I was in it, I would be really scrappy and learn how to do it. But I think the idea of doing it without the resources, I'm a little more by the book, and I own that. So I almost want to like push myself to do something like that just for fun, just to see like how I rise to the occasion. So
you might, who knows, that something could come of that, like creatively, right? When you're pushed, when you're against a rock in a hard place. Is that the right?
I think that's
expression.
So. Well, I took a script I was working on, and I sort of tried to rewrite it through the lens of ultra low budget, because it is an interesting mental to be like, how do I only spend $300,000 to make this movie? And you really have to be like, it can't take place in anything more than like 2 locations.
Yeah.
You can't have that many actors. Like it's limiting, but then it becomes creative. But you also do want to, the million budget range allows you to like pay people.
Yeah.
And
True.
like rent things and like access better talent. And it's just sort of, it's sadly the like minimum to make a movie at this point is like $1 million.
Which is crazy.
I do think paying people is definitely important.
Yeah.
But I think don't they have those film festivals? It's like the 24-hour film festival where within a period of 24 hours, you're with a group and you write the project, shoot the project, edit the project, and then it goes into a festival where you actually like win a competition or something. Like,
love that.
That to me sounds fun. I feel like it'd be crazy and intense, but I think it'd be really fun. So
yeah, that would be fun.
Well, it's also, I often think of things in terms of like, I can do this for this amount of time. And it's like, I can do it. I can be miserable for one day. Like, if I'm going to be up all day running and doing all this, I can do it for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. You were the Ryan Murphy Half Initiative program. What was that like?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was amazing. I did that this summer. It's interesting. So all the time that I've been directing and creating this career, I've always had corporate jobs full time. So I was at a company and I unfortunately got laid off. And then literally the day I got laid off, I got a phone call asking if I wanted to participate in the Ryan Murphy Half Initiative. It was on a Friday and they said that the start time would be Monday. And they were like, do you have anything going on? Da, da, da. And I was like, nope, I'm free. And then I had no idea. Like, I just said yes. And then I immediately looked at my calendar and just cleared like 4 weeks. So I was like, I have to do this. Like, there's no way. And I shadowed the show 911, which was interesting. So that had Peter Krause, Angela Bassett, Jennifer Love Hewitt, which was amazing.
Iconic. Yeah.
And I shadowed someone who is a director and producer of many Ryan Murphy shows. So it was a great experience. You know, the budget for the episode was, north of 10 million. So I got to witness like explosions and fires. I got to witness having thousands of extras and like shutting down public areas of cities. So just like really magnitude scale production that I've never really been privy to before.
Right. And that was for one episode of television, right? Like you
from
said,
start to finish, from like, the brainstorming pre-production stage all the way to the editing. So it was about like 3.5 weeks altogether. And it was amazing. There were a couple scenes, like 3 days back to back. We shot almost overnight. It was kind of like a 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. in Valencia situation. So, I mean, there were some like pretty grueling days.
Yeah.
But I loved it and I learned so much. And then right after that, I was given a call. I got a call and was asked to direct my first television episode. So it kind of came perfect timing where, like, I feel like the short led to the Ryan Murphy Half Initiative, and that led to the television episode.
Yeah.
And I've been working on the feature on the back burner, and now I'm getting ready to shoot my second short. So they're all kind of building on top of each other, and one thing has opened a door to another, essentially.
Opened a door immediately. I feel like it's so rare, like when something is ending, the same day you get a call being like, are you available? That's amazing.
I think it's also like, for example, the way the television episode happened, I saw a trade announcement for the show and I knew the producer and I texted the link. And I was like, jokingly, I was like, hey, if you need a director, I'm around, but I wanted to like plant that seed in his brain.
Smart. Yeah.
And they had seen my short and they thought like for the price, it was very scrappy, whatever. So they needed they needed a 6th director and there were 6 episodes. So they brought me into the fold.
Well, working in the film industry, you really learn that like closed mouths never get fed. Yeah. And you just sort of have to like ask what you want and tell people what you're looking for. And like a lot of times,
and I'm shameless.
Yeah.
It's been like as I've grown.
I feel like we're here and then we're gone.
Yeah.
Like life is short. So I just don't care. I just ask for what I want. And
Yeah.
if you don't ask for what you want, someone else is. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think like I go for every opportunity. I mean, even the other day I was at American Film Market and they had a producer of like many successful horror movies that I respect and admire. And afterwards he did stick around, but he was surrounded by a mob of people. And
Mhm.
I'm never someone who will like wait in that group of people and try to
Yeah.
like get
Accost
2 seconds
him.
with them. So I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave. And I was in the line for valet waiting like to get my car, and he was there too. And no one was around him. And I was like, oh my God, this is
Mm.
my moment. I have to like do it. So I went up to him and I was just like, hey, I'm Amir. I saw you speak. I was like, I know you get bombarded all the time, but I would love if you would be open to letting you send me my short film. I think you working with first time feature directors is amazing. I was like, watch like the first 3 minutes of my short, and if you hate it, you never have to talk to me again. I was like, but I would love if you would just give me that 3 minutes of your time. And he literally gave me his email address, and like I sent it to him. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
it's just
amazing.
you just gotta like shoot your shot, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Also smart for you to be like, you don't even have to commit to all of it, just the first couple of minutes, right? I think
Yeah.
people get overwhelmed very easily when you're like, watch this entire thing. So I think the fact
hmm
that you kind of gave him that
I
tidbit
think
is
I'm
really
just
smart.
I come from the corporate side of film. Like
Yeah.
I've worked
Right.
at Netflix and other
Right.
studios, and I understand their life and how
Right.
busy they are. And I
Right.
understand what it's like to be on the recipient end of like getting pitched all the time, and how you like have no ability to say yes and you're crushing dreams and like hurting people.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think I get it to some degree and I talk
Right.
their language in a way. So, anyways.
Well, it is the sort of smart thing of like getting it together and directing a short, because it's a lot easier to watch even a chunk of a short than it is to read a whole script. It's a lot like there's
Mm.
just like I mean I've worked for so many producers who like receive like even ones who aren't even actively developing projects, and they receive so many unsolicited scripts. And they
hmm
receive so much stuff, and it's sort of just like having the calling card of like, this is my short. Like,
Yeah.
and it's a really good short too, which I get averse to shorts sometimes because I've seen so many of them,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are a little indulgent, and a lot of them are not like tight and like the
The
thing that stood
editing
out.
is the key. Some
Yeah,
people just like go on and on and on, and I think like you have to be really like selfless when it comes to your editing, I think.
yeah,
Mm.
you have
Yeah.
to give up the shot you loved that just doesn't work, and like
hmm
a lot of people don't understand that, and that's sort of the thing of TV where it's like, because that's where I've come up through. You sort of learn like the economy of television is a valuable lesson for making features, for making everything, because you sort of have to learn like you have to let some things go.
And I love television for that reason. Like, when you're a director in television, you're really a guest there to execute other people's visions,
Mm.
and you don't have full creative control. And I think I like having those stakeholders and like having those conversations and knowing my place in a way where it's like, okay, it's my job to execute this, maybe leave a little bit of my fingerprint on it, but like it's not mine to just like make it totally different. It has to be consistent with the rest of the series and episodes in a way that they filmed it stylistically. So
Right.
I don't know, I like having full creative control in some ways with film, but I also like coming in and just kind of like being a team in a way on TV too. Like, I mean,
Sure.
it's a team in both ways, but more so in TV where you're kind of like a piece of it and it's not the whole equation.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was
Maybe
it
the
like
pressure's off a little
directing?
bit too.
What was it
hmm
like directing? Because you directed an episode of the Nebula show Subliminal, which I don't. It's not out yet, right?
No, I think it comes
No. Okay.
out, I don't know exactly when, but like early 2026, I think
Okay.
it's coming
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
What
It
was it
was
like doing that?
amazing.
If you can say. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It was intense because Slasher was a 2.5 day production and this was 5, 6. So it was double the most I've ever done before, excluding like shadowing, obviously for 911. But yeah, it was intense. It was amazing. I loved the cast and crew. I definitely had a moment like halfway through where I was like, "Can I do this?" And I, it was almost like I was at a crossroads, and I was like, "No, I can do this. Like I got this." But I think it stretched me in different ways, and Yeah, I think it just prepped me to shoot my feature. Like I
Yeah.
feel very ready now to shoot the feature in a different way than I was before. And I'm also super excited to shoot my second short and just try something totally different. Like I'm not doing a slasher. It's more like giallo inspired and
Ooh,
very different for me. But
Yeah.
so exciting.
I've worked with different production teams for all three of those projects. So Slasher, Subliminal, and this soon to be announced second short. And I think learning different producers' styles is also really interesting because you kind of like piecemeal. You're like, okay, I like what these people do here, and I like what they do here, and you're kind of like understanding what your preferences are, your style is through those experiences with different folks. So I think like learning to work with different teams has been also like a really great experience in this process.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good segue. Speaking of styles and inspirations, that's a good segue. Maybe we talk a little bit about your history with the genre, like growing up
Yeah.
with horror. Maybe talk, if you could, your first horror movie experience.
So I have seen probably almost every horror movie, and the majority, the majority of them were from like ages 6 to like 14, which I don't know what that did to my psyche, but
Yeah.
either way, that's the case.
Every
And
American horror movie, or do you just international? Like, what are
like
we
if you were
talking?
in a Blockbuster in the horror section, I
Yeah.
started at A and went to Z and I saw all of
Cool.
them. So
Cool.
like whatever they had that was global or American, like I think they sometimes had some Fulci things or whatever, but
Sure.
yeah, my first memory of watching a horror movie was the movie Dolls
Oh,
Okay. Yeah,
I keep
that's
from like
seeing the cover of
88.
it,
70s, 80s.
and yeah,
It's late 80s. I
Yeah.
think it was produced by Brian Usna, who I adore and respect and think he's amazing. But yeah, my grandmother and I used to always watch horror movies together. And my mom would get very upset that when I slept over there, she would like let me
Yeah.
watch these things
Yeah.
and they would give me nightmares. Like I would still get like scared. But yeah, dolls freaked me out. I remember for like a very long time, I could not be around dolls. It
yeah,
created it created a phobia for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm fine now, but yeah, that was like definitely. I just remember there's this one scene where the main character's best friend is missing and they open the door and like her eyeballs just fall out and she's just like
Nice.
sitting there with her eye sockets and like that scene is like burned into my memory. So
Yeah, at the age
yeah,
of, what would you say, like 8? Like, how old were you?
I was like 6, I think. Yeah,
yeah.
I was
Dude, your
I was
grandma's
kind of wild.
awesome.
Oh, she was
Like,
amazing. Yeah,
what a cool ass grandma.
she
That was sort of my grandma, except for I was too scared, so I would like leave the room. But she would watch like all weird fucking shit.
Nice.
yeah, and my cousins and I, we would, we'd watch all the Friday the 13th and Halloweens and like everything. And we would keep like a tally of like kill counts. We would like see like every time like there'd be a murder, we had this book that like ranked like which movies
Oh,
had the most killings. Um,
that's
and
incredible.
yeah, I think I'm trying to think of what I was gonna say, but yeah, just my grandmother's like a huge staple in my memory of like horror movies. Even in third grade, I remember I was reading It, like the 1100
Whoa.
page Stephen King book
Yeah.
version.
In
And
third grade?
in third
What?
grade, I read like every Fear Street book, every Goosebumps book, and by that point, I was ready to move on to
Yeah.
bigger
Everyone's
and
reading Harry Potter and you're like dialed into child murder.
correct. And that book is like not appropriate for someone in
No.
third
No.
grade.
Don't the kids like have an orgy or something at some point?
Yes.
Right?
It's a
Okay,
weird
so-
scene. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a book I tried to read as an adult and I couldn't make it through.
Yeah.
I just was like,
haven't-
it was like, I'm 400 pages in and I'm not even like halfway done.
I know. But it's so interesting because I think as a filmmaker, my brain is like an encyclopedia just from consuming all of this content at such a young age. So, like, for example, when I'm shot listing and I'm thinking, like, okay, like scenes where someone is trapped in a cop car, I'm like, okay, I know what you did last summer, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Scream 2, like when they crash into that thing. Like, it's like I can
Yeah.
pull all these resources very quickly where I don't even have to do research because it's just all in here, essentially. And I think, I think a lot of people in the horror community, we're all kind of, to some degree, maybe like at some point in our life we were misfits or we were misunderstood, and like that's like why we gravitate towards horror. And I think now, people look at me just surface level and like may not think that I was like that weird kid that had no friends that like loved horror for that reason, but like I definitely was that growing up. And yeah, it was a very comforting source of material. Like even movies like Nightbreed, where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, like I'm like one of them,
Yeah.
and there's all these,
Yeah.
there's a lot of queer analogies, and so I think it was a
Sure.
very comforting genre for me.
Well, it's an interesting genre too because people hit it at different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is like, I mean, like I feel like when I was growing up, a lot of like kind of like a lot of outsiders really liked horror, but then like kind of a lot of like bro-y guys really liked horror, and I think
Yeah.
they were just accessing it at a different level, where it's like if
Totally.
you watch
Yeah.
it at surface, you're like, oh, this is like an art for like teen boys, but then as you start, I always associated with like the female characters and like
Yeah.
Sydney and Scream. I was like, I'm sort of like her.
Yeah, totally. She was always
Hell
my
yeah.
favorite growing up. And it's interesting, even with Slasher, I remember we played at Horror Hound in Indiana. I had some queer people come up to me and said they really liked it because of, the representation and they felt seen. But then I had straight bros come up to me and be like, that prosthetic torso is so cool, man. Like,
Nice.
like they
Hell yeah.
resonated with different things. And I was like, okay, like that's cool. Like they like it for different reasons, but it still hits with both audiences. And I think
Yeah.
that's like what you try to make is something that works for everybody in different ways.
Yeah, that's so validating, and that's anytime straight men are like nice, it's like really nice. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I was
Fair.
just having this conversation about how seemingly rare that is these days.
What
Yeah.
would be like your go-to comfort horror movie? Like right now it's raining in LA. What are you like when you get off this podcast, you're going to watch a horror movie. What do you put on?
I think it's either like a 90s, early 2000s slasher. Like I love the Scream films. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Valentine, House of Wax. Or just like something familiar in like the Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Like I'll be like, oh, I haven't watched like part 6 in a really long time, but like that's going to be super comforting and boost endorphins. So I'll put that on. So I would say between the two, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like rewatching something I've seen. It's always like
You love rewatching.
I'm not always in the mood to take new things on.
That's fair. Yeah. Sometimes the rewatch is familiar, comforting. I would also say Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's definitely a
hell
comfort
yeah.
watch for me. So
Yeah.
Well, it is because I watched Buffy as a teen, sort of right before I got really into horror, and when I rewatched it in my 20s, I was like, "This is so horror! Like
it's amazing.
It is
Yeah.
so influenced, and so like it's like just the perfect hybrid between like teen drama and just horror, and it's so comforting."
It's
then
my
Michelle
favorite show on TV,
Yeah.
like ever.
Yeah.
I
Are
hope
you
the
excited
reboot
for the
happens,
reboot?
and I hope it's good.
I am. I'm optimistic for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Chloe Zhao's I mean, unexpected but like pretty iconic choice. Like
Yeah.
I think it's amazing, and I like her work, and I would love to see how she interprets the material and the legacy
Yeah.
of it. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see that. Yeah.
because it's so
What-
different from what she's putting. I mean, Hamnet, like I would never think that the person behind Hamnet is like spearheading the new Buffy show. That's amazing.
But the magic of Buffy is the humanity in it. It's the relationships between the characters and the friendships. Like it feels like a Scooby-Doo gang that you were a part of.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think she will understand the complexities of that element of it, which is to me like the most important core part of the show.
Yeah. The human connections. Yeah. For sure.
Well, and that is, I mean, across all horror, I appreciate a movie where you don't like any of the characters, but the ones I go back to are the ones where you connect with the characters and you're kind of sad when they die, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's
totally.
There's a difference
Or
between
not die. Scream
Yeah.
franchise. Love it, but Jesus Christ, like let's kill someone.
Let's kill someone. And then we always ask people, what is like your hottest horror take?
I would say, okay, I love the 2018 Suspiria. I think
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Hell
people
yeah.
don't like, I don't know, I hear bad reps sometimes for it, and I'm able to pragmatically separate it from the original. Obviously, the original is a classic and you can't really fuck with it, but
Right.
as a standalone film, I think Suspiria from 2018 is amazing and it's
Yeah.
very enjoyable. And I love like some of the, the sequence where her body is like contorting and she's dying. Like that's just like
Yeah.
such a memorable scene. Um, yeah, I think it's great. And I think it gets a bad reputation sometimes.
I think it
And I
does
would say
too.
my other hot take is I'm kind of over older people being villains that are like nude or other things. Like I
Yeah.
think there's it like we've done it enough times that I'm like, okay, like can we not make like just because they're old, why are they scary?
Yeah.
Is that ageism a little bit? Like I
Like
don't know. Like
exploitation. Yeah.
yeah,
Which
like
we're
it
going to
just
get
feels
into actually today with the substance.
Yeah.
it just feels like we've done it so like I don't disagree with any of the ones that have like been made so far, but I kind of feel like we've reached the peak of it and it's like
Yeah.
let's try to think of something new.
Well, it's
and
happened
original.
so much, especially in the last like 5 years.
Yes.
Where it's like Pearl and X. We covered
Yeah.
Barbarian this month. We like it's just sort of
Hereditary, like
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and so it's almost
feel like-
overdone right now. I think.
I feel like it didn't happen. It happened, and then it didn't happen for a while, and then it happened again a lot. Like I don't. Yeah, I mean, the substance. I mean, is probably the last most notable example. Maybe the front room with Brandy and
yeah. Oh, I forgot
what
about
is-
that.
What is her name?
I haven't seen that one. So.
I liked it, but it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not. I'll say this: it's not what it was marketed to be.
Yeah.
There's not really a supernatural element, really.
Yeah.
It's just straight up, like you were saying, this like grungy old woman being nasty and being nasty physically and verbally. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're looking for that, listeners, it's for you.
But yeah, those
Yeah.
would probably be my two takes. And
Yeah.
and
Those
I
are
love
good
Brandy.
takes.
Brandy is a great scream queen too. Just
Yeah.
side note. Like I think I
know, I
still
do-
know what you did last summer is really good.
I
and
think so too.
Underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think Stuart and I covered it. We covered it for the pod, and I think narratively it worked. In some ways, it works better than the original. The twists are it's
Yeah, the
fun.
Chase scenes are great. Like when Brandy's
chase
on
scenes are
that
great.
greenhouse and she falls
Yes.
through, and I mean, like some of those scenes, the tanning bed scene. Like
The
I love
tanning
those
bed.
scenes. Yeah.
The cast is stacked. Jack Black, Jennifer Esposito. It's like, what is going
Yeah.
on here? Yeah. Also, the location change was smart. Justice for I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. You know.
+1.
And I kind of wish
No.
I wish they would be able to find a way to make a sequel to I Know You Did Last Summer 2025, but just with Brandy and Jennifer Love Hewitt and like maybe different
They
writers and
might.
directors.
Technically, it was profitable, so maybe the
Yeah.
studio will
Yeah.
greenlight it. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the ending they set it up to be that. So it's who knows.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking do
There,
it.
did you clock, by the way, in the 2025 film, they had a moment where one of the cast members was like, "Let's just go to the Bahamas," and Ray was like, "I'm not doing that
no.
again."
It was like that's not gonna
And-
work. Yeah.
Oh,
and
no.
I was the only person in the theater that died laughing because I was like, "That's so good," and I was like, "How did no one else catch this?" Like that's. So
That's
it was
so
a nice
funny.
little nod to "I Still Know What You Did Last Summer."
Nice.
I do feel like a lot of people just skip I Still Know. And it's
Crazy to me because
kind of
it's
their
actually
loss.
really
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
And
solid.
I actually think and I don't know who directed it, but I think it looks better. Like I think it's more visually dynamic, and I think it's because of the change of location. You've got rain.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more night to it because of
Yeah.
the rain and the overcast of it. But
I've had a
yeah,
thought
just-
about like 90s slashers where it's like a lot of the cinematography in them are almost like utilitarian. They're very simplistic. Like they're not trying to be like super over the top or creative with like their color schemes or their camera shots. Like and I think that's almost a reason that they are such comfort films and easy to watch because you kind of just like slide into them and you're not like there's nothing that's like taking you out. Like I love when people are super creative in cinematography, but
Hmm.
when you look at like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and Valentine and like these films, you know, it's not like the focal point in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
I don't like think of like those elements as being like what draws me in per se, and
Yeah.
it's just interesting. I don't know, like
Do you
there's something about it. Yeah.
do you think that makes them more accessible?
Yeah, I think like I would categorize those films as like escapism,
Yeah.
like 90s escapism, and I think all those late 90s films kind of had similar cinematography. Like
Hmm.
if you look at like Cruel Intentions or if you look at Bring It On, 10 Things I Hate About You, like even
Yeah.
outside of the horror genre, they're all kind of the same with their
Yeah.
cinematography. And like I don't know how to describe it, but it's like you're just pulled into the narrative pretty
Yeah.
They all
much.
kind of
I know
feel
what you're
like
saying.
elevated WB,
Yeah, yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
and like that's the thing with like TV directing, you're there to do a job and you get to be creative but to a certain limit, and the budget and
Hmm.
the schedule, and like especially the big thing with the 90s movies especially is because all of the actors were doing other things. The schedules were really tight for all those movies.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
I know Scream 2 especially was like filming around Party of Five
Hmm.
because Nev Campbell was first position at Party of Five. And so you have to like do the job, get the movie made, do make a good movie, but also
Yeah.
you have time limitations, you have budget limitations, you have actor limitations, and that's sort
Yeah.
of where you get like kind of a comfortable like we're
But I
not
kind
going
of love
crazy
it.
with the
I
dollies.
love it.
Yeah, me too.
I've had some conversations with DPs for my feature, and I've gotten some really outlandish ideas where I'm like, actually, no, like I want it intentionally stripped back to reflect these films. I want the
Mhm.
focal point to really be like the narrative and the characters, and you
Yeah.
just slide into it in a way.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of feel like, you know, the DPs of that time, they were kind of genius in making that choice. I don't know if it was their choice to make like you're referencing because of schedules, but I think it like weirdly really works for those films. And if it was intentional, that's kind of smart. So
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a look. I love I'm like a style over substance kind of guy. But I think it can be distracting if something is over stylized or like beautifully shot. So, like you're saying, I
hmm.
think being shot in a workmanlike way allows you to be less distracted on how the movie looks and more dialed into the characters, plot points, twists, blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. So
There's pros and cons to like both sides
interesting.
of it, but
Yeah,
it's just been
I've
something
never
I've
thought
been
about that.
thinking of because I've been like mapping out shot lists and like looking at references, and I'm like it's so interesting. Like a lot of the key art, a lot of the cinematography, it's very just like simplistic at that
Yeah,
for those films. So yeah.
I've never thought about
That's kind
that.
of nice. It's kind of
Yeah,
just
Hmm.
like it feels like you're not in a bad way, but like your hand is being held. We're just like,
Yeah.
okay, like you're showing me the things you need to show me and you're not going crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to bring my film back to that in a way. So we'll see.
Well,
Ooh,
it's an
yes.
interesting reference that like especially all, millennials will all sort of feel comforted by of just like
Yeah.
the 90s horror aesthetic. The interesting thing about the 90s horror wave too is it's actually not that long. Cuz Scream
Hmm.
is 96 and it kind of burns out by 2000. So there is
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like
think.
there's like 20 really strong examples of it, and they're really influential today, but it's not like the 80s cycle which continued for almost an entire decade.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. There's some scatter points. You know, Valentine was '01, I think, or 2000.
Yeah.
And I know that House of Wax was like 2004 maybe, but
Yeah.
I do think it like trickles out and then it shifts into the glossy remakes of the
Yes.
slashers where you have like
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw, Nightmare on Elm Street, etc. Like they suddenly you get all these like $50 million reboots that are like super super glossy looking, and
Yeah.
One House of
it
Wax is a
changes.
$40 million movie. I,
I mean,
I
yeah,
googled it a few
that
weeks ago, and I was
with the
because I was
end
like, this
scene with the
movie is
fire.
expensive. Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
I
spent
mean,
money on this. They
I
shipped
wonder.
Paris Hilton to Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I wonder how much of that budget is Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Also, the soundtrack to that film is amazing. Like, I love
Oh, is it?
like
It's really
hardcore
good.
rock music, and it has like
Yeah.
Breaking Benjamin and like all these bands, and I think like
Yeah.
I don't know. I like horror movies with like solid rock albums. I think it makes sense and works.
Yeah. Well, I think in that I think House of Wax qualifies, but the post 9/11 era of like angry horror movies, like you were saying, like any Platinum Dunes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, like The Rock, that I miss that like harsh like violence. Like I do think I would love to see us get back to there. I don't know if that's
You know, I never thought about
okay
post 9/11. That's so interesting because you're
absolutely.
right. Like Hostel, Saw, like all these kind of like torture porn movies came
angry
out.
movies. Yeah.
So
What it
interesting.
is, because all horror at that point was kind of angry, like just as a reflection of where we were as a society. But the remakes were so slick, and then the Hostel and the Saw were not as slick. And so it's interesting to sort of see two sort of lenses through which to reflect your anger, and like depending on the budget and depending on like if you're dealing with a existing property or an original feature. I'm sure there's an essay
like
somewhere
indie,
that I should read.
Yeah, it felt like indie compared to studio, you know, so it was interesting. And, you know, horror is always reflective of like a time period and what we're going through. When you look at films from the 50s, it was very like nuclear war, Cold War focused. When you look at the 70s, it was very like slasher focused because you had all these serial killers that were out there doing that.
Isn't that crazy?
Obviously now there's like a lot of like zombie apocalypse, end of the world because of COVID and pandemics and other things.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. Like I do think there's this like anthropology lens that you could attach to horror being a reflection of like a society's collective fears and what they're struggling with.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's like if you look at all the remakes of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which was one of it was a paper I wrote in college, which is sort of like
here we go.
I'm kidding. It is an interesting
there he goes again.
property because it's remade every 5 to 20 years.
Yeah,
and you really get sort of like you get how they're interpreting fear and exactly what they're afraid of in different ways. And it's like the Faculty to the Daniel Craig, Nicole Kidman Invasion.
I love the Faculty.
Yeah, me too. It's much better than the Daniel Craig one, but it's an interesting like pre 9/11, post 9/11.
Yeah. You know what though? I revisited the Nicole Kidman when I saw the Daniel Craig one. I was like, oh. But I revisited it recently. It's not as bad as I remember. Also, Nicole Kidman chugs a Mountain Dew in it, which I really like.
So first Mountain Dew, then a glass of milk.
Yeah, I felt it on a biblical level. I was like, okay, this is she can baby girl can go the distance.
The 94 invasion scared me. I remember when I was a kid.
So I haven't seen it yet, which that's
good.
Interesting because they're close together.
There's also a lot of there's a lot of similarities to The Substance, where like the body's like split open, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
So like I when I think of The Substance, I think of films like Society and Invasion of the Body Snatchers from '94. And yeah, that movie is like seared into my brain because I just remember it was like terrifying the way like the bodies would open and like
whoa, I don't think
aliens
I've
would
seen the
come out.
94 one.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Well, and that's actually a good teaser and ending point for this episode, because you're joining us later this week for our Substance episode.
Yes.
So I guess we can log off here and everyone can hop on this Friday and check out our Substance episode. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Sure. On Instagram, I'm Amir Michael 89, and my film Slashr is on Screamfest's YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, it's SLASHR. So.
And definitely, we'll both agree. Check it out. It's really good.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Thank you.
See you later this week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
This is another gay horror pod with Stuart Ross and Jesse Tebbett.